President Cyril Ramaphosa has warned the instigators of the current violence sweeping through KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng that they will be dealt with the full might of the law. He announced the deployment of the SANDF while police officers who on special days of leave were recalled. Joining us now on the line, Director and Senior Associate of the African Centre for Security and Intelligence Practices, Alden de Klerk. Alden, a very good morning to you and welcome to Radio Islam International.
Thank you, and good morning to you and your listeners, Suleiman.
Many were critical of the president yesterday, saying his words, his body language, his tone did not inspire the necessary confidence in the nation. Your thoughts?
Oh, I thought that what the body language and the tone of the president was suggesting was one of empathy. I think the emphasis was on the fact that he understood that the pandemic in the country has had a dire impact on an already grievous situation in the country, that the poor continues to be poor, and that he took it serious. I mean, he didn't come across as the bravado strongman. What he came across as somebody who was sympathetic, empathetic, and trying to say to us as South Africans that if we work together, we've overcome difficulties and obstacles in the past, we have a shared future. And what we need to do today is understand what our common purpose is, what is it that governs us, and commit ourselves to that so that we can shape a shared present and a shared future.
The big question on people's minds this morning is that even after the deployment of the army, it seems like the situation is out of control. People are returning time and again to the same venue to pick up even more goods. They're roaming the streets with the stolen goods. They are publicly advertising what they've stolen, to sell it. They're coming back to, for example, a macro in Durban 24 hours later to see if there's any remaining goods. Why is it that the police, together with those from the army that have been deployed, have at this stage yet not been able to bring the situation under control?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I hope that the police actually comes on your show and answers that, because that's what we need. We need the police to answer. We need those with the requisite authority to answer the questions that we, as the public, have of them. It's been seeming for days now that the police seemingly have no coherent strategy. They have information, they know what is about to happen, and somehow it doesn't translate into something that seems planned, orchestrated, and deploys policing resources as and where it's needed. They're failing to secure soft targets. In other words, they're not hardening those targets from further attacks. And that's like sort of crime prevention 101. That's both theory and practice. And somehow they're missing a step. And I think it's this legacy of unfortunate years of SAPs being focused on the numbers. Even now we talk about 200 plus people being arrested, and as if the emphasis is on the arrest rather than the prevention and the effectiveness of the police to continue to curb further damage to property and loss of life. Surely it's not about the numbers. Surely yesterday they could have arrested thousands of people and the situation would still have continued. So we got to refocus our mindset as a country and as the police and say, what is it that we actually want to achieve here? We want to make sure that our common purpose remains, no loss of life, no unnecessary injuries, and we protect vital infrastructure. And yes, property can be replaced. However, critical infrastructure is going to cost all of us, right? If you want to take the suite, don't burn the shop down. So the coherent strategy of the police seems to be failing. Then the president is trying to provide some sort of public leadership, but now we need other institutions and NACHOCs and the police in particular to step up and show us that our confidence in them is not misplaced.
There was a big call, right, yesterday morning and the night before for the army to be deployed. Many were criticizing the president for not having done so. Then it happened. There's big debate as to how many or what numbers are actually on the ground and what numbers could have been on the ground. But that aside, how realistic should we be? What should be our expectations of what the army can or cannot do under these circumstances?
Well, what the army hopefully can do is what we expected them to do in the lockdown is actually take up critical positions as we saw watching the similar scenes play itself out all over the U.S., the Army, the National Guard took up critical standing positions and provided static protection for critical infrastructure. So what we get from policing is that we need to contain and cordon public disorder in a particular area so that it doesn't spread into other areas. So we hope that the Army can help us do that. Basically put up a hard line and say, you will not cross this line. We understand that you're burning over there. We understand that you're looting there. That's where you're going to stay, and it will not spread from there. So that's the first thing that we're hoping the Army will do, that they take up strategic positions around these critical cities and confine and cordon off the unrest in a particular area. While they do that, that's then the opportunity for the police to go door to door, street to street, street by street, and start doing what they say they're going to do, is get goods back and to arrest persons that they have. And there's also another role to play here. There's a role to play for public leadership to do the very same in their communities. It was clear that so many of our communities continue to be unemployed. We know that kids are not at school. They were all there. And there's a sense of adventure in having a little duke out with the police. We've all done it. We throw stones, we run away, we come back again. It's a great kids game until somebody gets killed. So we hope that the Army will secure infrastructure that is unaffected right now, and that frees up the police to do what they need to do to deal with both the perpetrators. We need cleaning crews to come in there immediately. Where's our city councils? Why are they not working? We need those cleaning crews to go in there, clean street by street, area by area that has been affected, so that the Army and the police can shift that hard wall and make the area of unrest ever smaller.
All right, Eldon, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you.